Hello, good evening, good evening. I don't normally go live this late at night. Not this late at night, I'm usually in bed, but here we are because I have something that's just kind of burning in my throat chakra that I really need to share with everyone. And it came today. I had the most incredible day. Like, how many of you have ever had an incredible day? Like, all of us have at some point, right? And it started with I just started with waking up, and just being grateful for being alive and being grateful to God, source, and creator to say, look, thank you for the lungs and my breath, and just really starting with deep gratitude. And I just kind of went through this day going, I'm just grateful and I get to do this and I'm going to do that. And it's just, and all of my day just sort of like aligned. And you've had one of those days where like you pulled in right on time and everything just lined up and things were just kind of falling into place. And, sometimes, especially recently for me, because I had taken it upon myself to, I've got rid of all of my stuff. I got rid of most everything I own except for my horses and the things that are truly important to me. And I've taken a huge step into the nothing. I think about Indiana Jones when, in the last crusade, when he has to, the leap of the lion's breath, where he has to take a step. He's like, and he does, oh, it's a leap of faith. And then he lands right on the land, right? That's kind of how I feel and how I've been feeling today. And, you ask yourself, how do you know if you're aligned? Well, right there, that's how. When you take the leap, the leap at the lion's head, that's right. You take that leap and you go, I know that I'm supported. And when you do that, when you really get aligned with, God, source, and creator, angels appear. That's what I like to say. And, I have 5 angels in my horses that I've been working with for like that. It's so funny too. And I don't mean to digress too much, but I will for a moment when I say, when I first got into horses in 2005, or oh man, it's been 21 years. And because I'm a Bella, so don't worry, guys, you can take my quiz and find out which pony persona you are. Um, when I found out, because of that, everybody was like, oh, here she goes again with another crazy idea. Before that, it was scuba diving. Before that, it was, underwater basket weaving. It was just all these things. And because I was kind of at that point, I was on like sort of a seeker's journey and trying this and trying that. And I was actually, I'm a dive master. I've got my rescue diver. I'm a chef. I've got all these, jack of all trades, but the master of none kind of thing. But the one thing that happened when I got into horses is that it was like, boom. And it was like, the tuning forks that vibrate. It was like, this is it for me. And when I first got into it, everybody's like, oh, she's lost her. She's, another expensive hobby for Jen. Let's see how long this lasts. Well, the rest of my life, and it started with me riding a Budweiser Clydesdale at the age of 4. That was my first experience with a horse, a Budweiser Clydesdale. I mean, can you imagine? That would never happen these days. But I was, and actually this is in a compilation of a book that I wrote called "Here Comes the Sun" with several other authors. And, we kind of one of those chicken soup to the soul type of books. And so I was coming out of the IGA. Remember, what is that called? Independent Grocers Association. I can't believe I know that, in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, with my mom. And I was maybe about 3.5 or 4. And I called my mom. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But we were walking out of the grocery store, and there was this big, like the fireworks type tent, and the Budweiser Clydesdales were there. The Budweiser Clydesdales were coming out, and they are gorgeous. These huge animals, and I'm this little tiny thing with my little blonde pigtails. And I'm like, Mom, let's go these little horsey. So we walked over there, and I go up to the, it's bold, bold as a child. How that is. And I tugged on the guy's pants and I was like, Mister, can I ride your horse? Like, it's his horse, right? And he goes, no, I'm sorry, honey. These are special horses. They, people don't ride these horses. And I was like, crying my crocodile tears because I didn't get to ride the Budweiser Clydesdale right at that moment, right? And as we're walking away, the distributor's family showed up. The Budweiser distributor's family showed up. And they get out of their car and they're checking on things, whatever. And they had a little girl about my age. And guess what that little girl got to do, right? She got to ride the horse. And I'm like, man, seriously, I'm crying my crocodile tears and everything. My mom grabbed my hand and marched me right back over there. God bless my mother for, standing up and fighting for me in that moment. I don't know that she appreciates it now with everything, but we go over there and he goes, all right, yeah, here we go. And so he puts me on, I'll never forget, a horse's name was Baron. I'll never forget it. And so I rode that Clydesdale and my legs were like, hit their backs are so big and wide. I was basically doing the splits on this horse. My smile was as wide as my legs were spread. So it was amazing. And I'll never forget that. And that's what really started, my love of horses. And I am actually pretty certain it started before then, but it was like, the seed was planted, and fast forward, 47 years later, and I just turned 50 and I'm here doing this work that I've been doing now since 2004. And it started again with, getting back into horses as a reward to quit smoking. And so when I did that and I got into horses, I was like, okay, this is it. And sometimes it's interesting how we take these detours and you can't connect the dots going forward. You can only connect them going back. And the thing that really was powerful for me was really kind of like, sort of one of those moments. And it always came back to the horse. It always came back to working with the horses. And I went and I worked for Tony Robbins. I worked with Tony Robbins. I've done a lot of ton. Oh my God, I have a small fortune invested in personal development over the years. I was a platinum partner. I've done work with Joe Dispenza. I mean, I could go on about all the things that I started to do to work on myself, and I was definitely the black sheep of my family. Like no entrepreneurs, my family. My parents worked for the state and federal government. My brothers were in the military. My grandfather was a school teacher. I mean, everybody had system supported careers. And so for me to go, I think I'm going to be homeless and create a program with horses to help people. Like, what? It sounds insane. And that's what I did. In 2013, I woke up to a Facebook message from a woman telling me I might want to talk to my husband about where he was getting his money. And because we had a decent lifestyle back then, it wasn't extravagant necessarily, but we were traveling with Tony and doing a lot of things. And, I was miserable. It was just not, it was a loveless type of marriage. And I wanted to leave really bad, but I had this story that, the man makes the living and the woman makes the life worth living. And I had to, and I had that paradigm that I had painted myself into by adopting other people's belief systems. Right. So, what happened from that point was I found out what was happening. And, my ex-husband was doing some not so awesome things with people's money. And he ended up going to federal prison. And he was like, I guess not as many zeros, but a version of Bernie Madoff, just kind of swindling people out of their hard-earned money. And there was a lot of guilt that I experienced over that because that's what that supported our lifestyle. Kenya! Oh, hey, love, you were at that date with Destiny with me. I remember. And that was what happened. In 2013, I was at a program with Tony Robbins called Date with Destiny. And for whatever mind-blowing reason, I raised my hand to do a share and he had chose me. And I was like, what the, now what? An hour and a half later in front of thousands of people, he cracked me open. And fast forward now, what was it, 2013, 12 years later, and a lot of pain and a lot of, rejection. Yeah, I remember. I know you were. I can't wait to see you in May. I'm going to be in Mena, Arkansas for the Peace Festival in May. Like, ask me 5 years ago if that, well, longer ago than that, because now I just don't question anything. I just go, what is in alignment? Like what feels good in certain parts of my body? And I have like this secret decoder ring for how I feel in my body. Like when I have a no, it's right below my belly button, 2 inches back. When I have a yes, it's behind my left ventricle. When I have like a holy hell yes, I feel it right from literally physically from the bottom of my heart. And I have a few others. I have like one on my left shoulder, I have one on the lower part of my right back. And like, I know what these, and I actually I should draw a picture, like pin the emotion on Jen, right? But the cool thing about that is that when you realize where you're starting to feel things in your body, you can get, my body is telling me yes, my body is telling me no. And Dr. Gabor Mate writes a really great book it's called When the Body Says No. because what'll happen is if you don't align, your body's going to say you should be saying no, you should have stronger boundaries, you should listen to your gut. You ever hear that? Listen to your gut's never wrong. And he writes, when your body says no, and because you don't have those boundaries, you get sick. You get stuff like autoimmune diseases and Parkinson's and things that really can be very damaging. So the more you can tune into those little whispers. I call it universe whispering, like, kind of a play on the horse whisper type of concept. But, when you tune into like, where does it feel in your body when you hear the word no, or you should be saying the word no, or it just doesn't quite feel right in a certain way. And you can go, okay, I know which way I should be going, and it allows you to lower your tolerance for pain. I'm always telling all of my clients when I work with people, when I do private coaching or even in my group settings, I say, lower your tolerance for pain. Now, this doesn't mean that you're not resilient. Lowering your tolerance for pain does not mean you're not resilient or you aren't the man of steel, right? It just means that you are more aware of where you should be going instead of waiting till the universe punches you in the face, right? And you get a disease or you get a flat tire or you get something really negative happening to you, because I believe that you create your own reality. And I believe strongly that what you think is what you say, is what you do, is how you feel, is what your character and your destiny and that whole circle of life thing, right? So ask yourself, am I aligned? Am I feeling it right correctly in different places in my body? And you'll notice those things. And tonight we did a really cool exercise in my 2 a.m. inner circle group. We meet every Monday night and we do some really cool stuff. We talk about horses and we watch videos and we cover some pretty deep topics. And that's one of the things that we talked about is like, what's your career? What's your mission? And I've pivoted it more than once. Like when COVID hit, I couldn't hold retreats with horses, and I couldn't go to events and network belly to belly. But I still had all the overhead. I still had the place in Orlando, 10 acres, 2 houses, 10 stall barn, 6 horses, and employees. I mean, I had all that infrastructure and expenses to go along with it, and I was like, well, I got to pivot. So I did, and I created the Zen Club, and I created an online community, and I basically took a retreat and put it in a box and put it in a course, and everything all of the best of the best of the content that I have. It's an incredible course. A lot of people that have done it are like, this is binge worthy. It's amazing. And it comes from knowing knowing what you can do. It's like, what you ever see, all those places. What can you talk about for 30 minutes? I'm like, what could I talk about for 30 hours? Well, horses, healing, helping people, any topic. Yeah. That was a test of faith. You're absolutely right. And so now that I've moved out of my house, and a friend of mine was asking me today, she's like, what are you doing right now? And I'm like, I kind of don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is that I'm following source. I'm passing, I'm acing that test of faith, Kenya. I'm acing it. So it's because every single day I wake up and I just say, align me today, come from gratitude and appreciation. What can I do to serve? Who can I support today? How can I share my mission in a clear way? So I'm just going to answer Judy's question. She said, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm taking my all of everything and on the road. I used to do it at my place. Everybody would come to me. Then I did it digitally. So I have an expansive way to share it, more inexpensively and to the masses, so to speak. And now I'm taking it to other facilities. So I was in South Florida at a beautiful property, 5 acres, beautiful house, guest house, the whole nine. And I was like, nope. That my lease was coming up, and I said, I got to do something else. And that's when I said, you know what, I need to get back to the horses. And doing this work with horses, and that what happened was that I started to believe, and I posted earlier, it's like, don't forgive yourself for taking on someone else's disempowering beliefs, right? And their beliefs about you, someone that's criticizing you, someone that says, like one of my mentors, like someone that I had devoted a lot of time to and a lot of connection with, was basically calling me a toad. He said, you suck and we want nothing to do with you anymore. And so I took that to heart, and I thought, well, if somebody that I look up to thinks I'm no good, then maybe I'm no good. And it took me a long time to reestablish the belief in myself that I had around my ability to work with horses. And I'm staying with my friend Amy at the moment, and she was one of those people that really helped me, believe in myself. And again, you know, and so when someone is sharing a belief with you, ask yourself, is this a disempowering belief? Or is it an empowering belief? Are they saying, well, why don't you sell that horse? Like when I got divorced and I was homeless, living on my girlfriend's sofa with no money, waiting tables, my everybody said, sell the horses, right? Every single person I talked to said, sell the horses. I had really nice horses. I could have got a lot of money for them, and it would have been easy. And then I would have money to live on and plenty of time to go, get a good job and all that. And something in my gut said no. And I even did a TED talk on the topic. And it was like, yes, I'm listening to you. Internal guiding system. Absolutely. And I didn't even know that it had a name, but there it is. Your intuition, or, your gut, like you said. And so I did a TED talk on the topic several years later, where everybody was like, "You're dumb. You're paying for horses you can't afford. They're a luxury." And I'm like, "No, they're not. Alignment is not a luxury." I'll say that again. Alignment is not a luxury. It actually is a lot of pain when you come out of alignment. You've ever driven a car that's out of alignment? It's like, or it's pulling over to the right, and you're like, keep, hauling it back to the left. So how do you get that internal guiding system and listening to source, capital S, and source energy, capital E, right? And what that can look like to how you feel every day, how you flow through your day. Guys, I've been going since 5 a.m. and it's after 9 and I am not even tired. I feel like a little kid that's at Disney World. My wheels are probably going to fall off and in 5 minutes I'll be, you know, but it feels so good to get back to that space. And what feels good is what you should be doing. And I don't mean like drinking a bunch of beer, or, going and having cupcakes. Sometimes we do need to self-soothe in certain ways, but the more you get in alignment, the less requirements you have for that, and the more you can focus on God and Creator and what you're trying to achieve with your life. I wake up every day and I say, thank you, God, for helping me align my actions towards the desires and purpose of my life. How can I serve even more myself and others right now? And asking really good, strong, empowering questions. So it's important that you tap into that for yourself. And I'm going to what I'm dubbing the road to the rescue. And I'm going to be I've got now 7 rescues that I'm going to be doing all across the country. And we're going to be doing workshops, trainings, leadership programs, and inviting people to join my Zen Club. And then they're like, well, how do you make money? Well, we just share the revenue. We just split it. It's easy. Or it's a partnership. Everywhere I go, they'll have the opportunity for me to come and work and train and play with their horses and train their staff and all of those things. And then we'll do a workshop and a fundraiser. And then we're going to do brunch in the barn, which I've done a million times. It was so much fun. We did protein shaker cups and Bisquick, poured them out on the griddle, out in the open. And it was so much fun, and got sprinkles, and it's a lot of fun. And to be able to take something that's socially conscious and also yet tragic, like the tens of thousands of horses get shipped out of this country every year to go to slaughter for human consumption. And that's not okay with me. I posted a video earlier, either late last night or earlier today, about a guy really doing something atrocious with a horse. I can't even describe it. It was one of the just most just cruel things, and those things need to be exposed. And this what's happening with the horses, it needs to be exposed. And it's not going to be through legislation in the same way. It may be, but what I do know is that I can't control that. What I can control is what I do. And what I do is say, I'm going to help people through horses, because at Zenergen, I believe everyone deserves to have a life-changing experience with the horse that enhances the dignity and the consciousness of both parties. That the dignity of the animal and the integrity of the animal is maintained and uplifted. And we don't do training through force. We do training through, it's not even training. It's just having a conversation with the animal. I remember one time I was at a rescue doing a workshop, and I said, don't be like clicking and smacking and and all that until you can what you're doing. So don't use verbal cues because the horses don't really understand what that is until they can have an association with a click means walk or a double click means I would like you to canter, whatever it is. And then people were creaming me all over social media. She doesn't talk to horses. She tells people to not talk to their horse. And I'm like, that is not what I said. I'm a lippy woman and I never shut up. Are you kidding me? I'm always talking to those guys. But what am I saying? I'm saying, please. I'm saying, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm saying, what can I do to serve you? Oh, man, you are amazing. Thank you so much. And I'm just talking to them all the time. I'm looking for the ways to make them feel right. Oh my God, wouldn't you love to be in a relationship with somebody that treated you that way? So I think about if you can do that with a horse, you can do it with a human too. And that's where I really started putting those worlds together, personal development through horses and taking that and my programs of leadership empowerment to these horse rescues because they need it. These horse rescues need all the help and support that they can get. And a lot of them are struggling. And it's my mission to take as many, take 16,000, over 16,500 and something horse rescues. I think the last time I checked, there were 16,532 horse rescues in this country. And most of them are struggling to raise money for operational dollars. And I want to help them have a sustainable business model by being able to offer all of the things that I have gleaned for the last 20 years through natural horsemanship and personal development and take it to that space. And if I can sit here and talk with no ums and no so's and no pauses about something this passionately, I'm going to learn the right path. I know I'm on the right path. And even though I'm kind of, there's my starting because I'm like, I don't like the fact that I'm starting over, sort of, so to speak, because I don't. I'm a full time on the road right now. My girlfriend Rose, I love her so much. She's taking care of my horses for me. I say they're at summer camp. They're at Rose's summer camp. While I do this work and travel through the month of April and May, I'll be in St. Louis. I'll be all over the Midwest, and then I'll be back in the southern states working from June in throughout the winter. So there it is. And it's easy. It was so easy. The decision was easy. Have you ever had a decision that's been so hard it's been easy? It happened when I left my husband too. It was like the decision was easy. He made it easy for me. He's going to jail. Not hard. But that's another story for another day. The point being now is to ask yourself, how do I know that he really loves me? No, just kidding. How do I know I'm on the right path? And you just get still, be still. Where the waters run deep is where the truth lies. And when you can listen to your gut and source and say, yeah, that feels good. And there's something, and this is where I'll kind of wrap it up, but there's something called ikigai. It's a Japanese ideology around the 4 areas of how you know you're on the right track. It's something you enjoy doing. You could do it till your fingers fell off, right? That's kind of how I feel sometimes. I've been out playing with horses all day. I could keep going forever. And people are like, have you eaten today? And I'm like, have I what? That done, check out of 10, right? And then are you good at it? Yeah, good. I'm good, guys. And then does it help mankind? I think this does. The transformations I have seen with people through horses has been incredible. I've had clients lose. One of my clients lost over 100 pounds, quit smoking, get divorced, get married, go on and start a new business, get a horse themselves. I mean, I can go on and on about the different benefits that people have gotten from this. So yeah, I'm checking that box too. And then can you make money at it? That's the next step. So I know I can. It's been, I'm still here and I'm not going anywhere. You ain't getting rid of me that easy, I like to say, because I'm here to support, and this is needed work. These horses can help people. So I believe that they can, and we need to teach the world the value that horses have outside of their physical capabilities of to run fast or jump high. And, I have a 22-year-old retired off the track thoroughbred that was raced 42 times over the course of 11 years, won more money than Seabiscuit. And he has healed so many people, and it's not work for him when you come from a space that we maintain the dignity of the animal, and in no way, shape, or form are we going to lower their vibration to make us feel better. So I put that to you when you think about what it is for you. I know what it is for me. There is not a question in my mind, and I don't care how long it takes. I don't care what I need to do. You know that song, whatever it takes. Like when people come to me like, "Oh, I love what you're doing. I'd love to help." I'm like, "Are you sure?" Because this could take what it takes, and what it's taken me has put me through. I say when you find yourself in the middle of hell, keep going. So I'm coming out from the other side of that, because every time I would find myself out of alignment, something would happen that would cause me to suffer. And I'd be like, oh, geez. So bringing it back to the horses, doing leadership trainings, corporate team building, culture development, working with women. And then, oh, by the way, let's also add the value to other charitable organizations like Wounded Warriors potentially, and things like that, where we can help veterans too, because horses can help people heal, and they can help people from all walks of life and all parts of the world. That is my truth, and it is done. I'm taking the road to the rescue, and if you'd be interested in joining me, I'd love to hear from you. I hope you guys have an amazing, blessed evening. Thank you for joining in on the live. Thank you, Kenya, for your comments and your beautiful words. And join me if you're interested. I love you all so much. I appreciate you, and have a great night. Oh, and remember to believe in yourself. It will change your life. Believe in yourself. It will change your life.